Right, so that's the rev counter installed. I think that's not a bad location. I'm sitting here, can't really see, there we are. You can actually, that's the view that I've got, so that's fine. I just need to wire it all up now and then fix the box back in place. I've disabled the opening facility of the cigarette ashtray, thank you, of the ashtray, so that's all permanently fixed now, and I just need to sort out the wiring, which is going to be relatively simple because I've just got the basic wires which are going to connect to the same wiring system that we've got for the Android head unit, with the exception of the green wire, which is going to go through over here, down the back and through the bulkhead, and then the coil is just behind it over there. So I'll put a connection onto the coil. So we'll just get that sorted and tested. I won't do the coil today because it's raining horribly. So yeah, let's just get this one done, and then we got a couple of other jobs to do as well. So see you in a bit. So just in the process of removing the sunshades at the front, which are just yeah, a little dirty. Give them a good clean up. These are the fittings. There's a screw goes through there and it opens up these little barbs. So just to pop them out is relatively simple, but just be careful because they're still 42 years old, so they're going to end up breaking if you're not careful. And then I'm going to start pulling down the headliner. Two reasons. I've got some strange fittings that have been put in here, obviously, at some point. I have a feeling these were for some sort of hammock that they might have had in here for children at some point in its life. Anyway, they need to be removed. There's just a rivet to drill out, and then I need to patch up the headliner. I want to put some insulation behind it as well, because all it's got is just a little bit of foam there, and that's the total amount of sound insulation or heat insulation. But also I'm thinking about putting a 12-volt roof-mounted air conditioner in here. I have got another air conditioner which I'm going to experiment with, but I'm also thinking whether or not to put the 12-volt one in here. Now we've got the huge battery capacity, so that's a possibility. Anyway, I'm going to investigate that a little bit, see if we can afford it, and maybe just do another video on installing a 12-volt air conditioner in a van, because we have some space up here. I don't think the interior units come down very deeply, so it's not like we're going to be banging our heads on it or anything, and it might be an alternative to having cab air conditioning. But anyway, we'll give it a go and see what happens, but I'm just investigating that as a possibility at the moment. Anyway, let's get this other one down, get it cleaned up, and then start removing this headlining. See you soon. So that's the headliner down. So yes, it was stuck in place. So there's some fixings at the back, and the rest of it is just stuck. But I'm glad I have done this, because we've got rust in the roof. Not a great deal, but just enough to be annoying, which is unusual because they don't normally rust in the roof, but this one has got a little bit there. Must have been some moisture in here in the past. Anyway, get some pads on here, bit of insulation, and then cover the roof with some nice mohair adhesive. Sorry, no, it's not adhesive back. I've used some glue on it. Anyway, some recovering of the roof, and to make it quite nice, I think. But yes, do need to get a bit of rust prevention in here fairly quickly. Right, I shall see you shortly. So I've put the butyl rubber strips on there. This is going to deaden the sound a little bit. I've got some more sound deadening to put up there. Deadening, which will be about 10 mil thick. I'm going to probably keep the insulation on the back of the headlining because it's in relatively good condition. I'll just brush it off, clean it, and give it a spray of glue. So when we put it back up there, it will be adhering to the surface of the sound deadening that I'm going to put up there, which is also self-adhesive, if that makes sense. I've sorted all the rust out, so that's not going to be a problem anymore. I can only imagine it's because it's had some damp in the front end of this motorhome in the past, which of course we've worked on. So I don't imagine this is going to be a problem much longer. So at the moment I've got my 2 wires coming down here for the interior light, and one of those is permanently live and the other one is a switched earth, so that when the doors open and close against those little, where are they? There, that thing there. That's just an earth switch. So basically when the doors open, that then closes the earth circuit. So we can take a feed from there, and then the sat-nav, the dash cam, which is this, which is a 4K Ultra HD dash cam. That needs a 5-volt supply. Let me just grab that to show you. So this is the cable that comes with it, and it's got a cigarette lighter attachment on it. And what you can see from that is that that takes 12 volts in, but outputs 5 volts. So I don't want to plug that into a cigarette lighter because I don't have a cigarette lighter anymore. So what we have instead is what's called a buck converter. It is one of those, and that is a 12 volt to 5 volt converter. So that will sit up here. We'll probably mount it outside, and so that will take the 12 volt feed from these wires here. It will be earthed permanently to the chassis because we don't need a switched ground on this one, or a switched earth on this one. And so that will give me a 12 volt feed then through to the camera at the front. And I'm also going to put a switch into it so that I can then switch that on and off as needed, so that I don't have to have it permanently running. We can just switch it off, and I'm going to use one of those little 12 volt relays that I've used for the DC-DC converter, and I'm going to put another one in there so that we've got control over the dash cam, which will mean that we can actually have it sitting there permanently live if needed, when we're parked up or we're somewhere scenic, or I can just switch it off if we're going to leave the van for any length of time. So yeah, that's where we're up to. I will get that installed now, and I'll be back to show you. Don't think I've explained these before, but this is what I'm using for a remote switch, which goes with one of these, and I'm using several of them in the van. One for the reversing camera, one to switch the DC-DC charger on and off, and this is the one that I'm using to control the power to the dash cam. So I'll just put a connector on here. Turn it that way around. That's 12 volts permanent live. So I'm going to feed that 12 volts permanent live in on this long wire. Now, this is a rather strange way of doing it, because these relays will give you, just see on the back here. So we've got positive and negative feed. So this is what powers this this relay. And then we've got a common here, and then we've got NC, which means normally connected, and then NO, which is normally open. So when you close the relay, then the NO becomes connected because it was open when the relay was off, and now it's closed. So that connects it to the common. So common and NO will actually connect those two wires. So if you have a positive and a negative, you can apply the negative to the common, okay, and then that will then make the NO negative when the circuit is closed. In this particular case, I want to feed the common with 12 volts. So I've connected a little jumper that goes from the V plus, which is 12 volts, connected it to the common. And now when I energize the relay, then NO is going to be 12 volts. And that is what is going to feed into my rear view camera, sorry, into the dash camera. So that's basically a way of using it. It's fairly simple, and I've got several of these, and each remote control is specific to a particular relay. So all I need to do is just make sure I mark these to say which one's which, and we'll have these set on the dash so that I can then switch these on and off as needed. I'm thinking of just possibly using this space in here to put a little bracket in there, or a little plate in there, with these set up, and then able to control each of the individual things. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, what I'm going to do as well is, once the 12 volt comes out of this relay, I might want to use it for other things. Now, these are Wago connectors. They come in multiple sizes. That's a 5, for example. And essentially, we just open these up, which I'm going to do one-handed. We push the wire in here and then close it down, and that locks it in place. And now I can use any of these other 4 connectors to, or sorry, 4 holes here, in order to feed off of that 12 volts. So from the relay, the output of the relay is going to go to one of these, which will be up on the roof there. And then one of these extra ones here will go off to the dash cam. I'm thinking of putting another one to a USB charger point. And the reason for that is that we've just bought a stick-on mirror with a light, which is going to go on to my wife's sun visor. And that has a USB charger on it. No, correction, it is powered by USB, so it needs to plug in every so often to a USB charger in order to keep it topped up. And rather than having to take it down off the dashboard and off the sun visor and charge it up, I thought, well, just have a USB charger up there so that I can then just plug it in and charge it just with the lead that it comes with, and then take the lead off. So up here, we're going to have some form of, I don't know which one I'm going to do with it yet. I don't know if to mount it into the headliner or whether have it permanently fixed. But anyway, that's going to have a USB charger on there. That's going to be the dash cam is going to sit up here. And then if I've got anything else I can think of, illumination or whatever, then I've got some other switches here. Now, one thing I did suddenly forget to mention is that we're actually, of course, using the buck converter for the dash cam. So it's the buck converter which will plug into here, which gives it 12 volts, and then the 5 volts will then come out of the back end here, and then we'll connect through on the wire which I have now prepared. So that's the USB-C charge port. I've cut off the 12 volt supply, 12 volt charger, and I've now just bared the wires, and we're going to connect those through to the black and yellow on the buck converter. So basically we've got 12 volts coming out here. It's going to go through the on-off relay. It's going to go through to the multi-way Wagyu connector, and then it's going to connect to the buck converter and then down to the dash cam. And another 12 volt wire will come through to the USB charger. I hope that makes sense. You'll see it all in action anyway when I've wired it all up, but so I'll be back soon, show you what I've done. Right, I'm hoping this is making some sense. I've temporarily connected the earth to the door earth, just to demonstrate this working, I'm going to put a permanent earth in, get a screw and do that properly. Anyway, got 12 volts positive and negative coming in. So the 12 volts is connected to the relay and the earth is connected to the relay, and I'll actually run that through an extra, come here, an extra Wagyu connection just to keep all the earth together. So earth and 12 volts are now going to the relay. The 12 volts is then pushed across to the common on that relay, and that is then connected to the NO, which is normally open. So at the moment the relay is off. You can tell that because it doesn't have a blue light on it. And that then feeds through to the buck converter. The buck converter here goes through to the wires I've just soldered and heat shrunk some protection on those, and then that comes through to the 4K dash cam. And now, using the remote control, if I energize that relay like so, red lights, so blue lights on, and we wait a couple of seconds, and there goes the dash cam. So the dash cam is now on. Just make sure we get some pictures on it. Yes, we can. So that's now connected. That's ready to go. And if I then switch it off, we're off. So that's how it works. So we've now got remote control over the dash cam. I can switch it on and off at will. So yeah, all good. Right, going to get this connected up, get some connections on it just to hold everything in place, find some locations for it, put an earth on, etc, etc. So I'll see you soon. So finally all connected up. Not the most efficient use of the VRB tape from 3M because it's actually double-sided, but it's all I've got lying around. I've got some left over, so yeah, we're going to be okay. And I might have to just adjust it over here. I'm not quite sure how far this headline is going to come down, and I'm also not sure whether or not I'm actually going to cover this white metal because it's pretty ugly, and I've found some rather nice four-way stretchable self-adhesive suede effect material on Temu, so I've ordered a roll of that, and we'll experiment a little bit with that to see if it's actually going to look reasonable. If it is, I might well cover that just to improve it a little bit. But anyway, that's all connected up. I've left that switchable earth because when I put some sort of illumination up here for the cab, some sort of light, I'm going to need that so I can take the power from the permanent live, which is just looking for it, which is here. Sorry, there. So I can take permanent live from that, and then I can take switched earth from that, and then that will give me the illumination inside the cab when you open the door. So that's ready to be done. There's the switch, and just hear it click, and then in a few seconds we should get the dash cam lighting up. There we go. So yeah, I think we're pretty good now. So that's all connected. The nice thing about that dash cam, by the way, is it's got a GPS aerial on it, antenna on it. So it actually records the GPS position at the same time as it records the video. So yeah, quite pleased with that. Oh, there we go. It talks to you as well. Please insert a memory card. Right. Okay, I think that's it for now. I'm just going to go and have a look and show you what I'm going to do with the headliner. So give me well, it'll be a few minutes for me, but it'll be a few seconds for you. So I'll see you shortly. Okay, so this is going to be for the next session. This is the headlining as it came out. And because these holes have been here, this needs repairing, but also some of this has pulled away. So this all needs to be glued back down again. I've got some contact adhesive, but yeah, we'll fix all of that. And then this is the headlining material, which we've got, which is a flock finish. It's quite nice, and that we'll just use the spray adhesive with that. So we'll mould that to the shape. The first thing to do tomorrow is going to be to repair this, and then secondly we're going to spray glue that. So that's the next job. So I'll see you in the next episode, and this will be what we're working on. Bye for now.